What's up, AP?
Hey, not too much, Jamie. How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in. Congrats on the podium at Daytona. I know how big that of a deal that was for you, especially with the season has not gone the way you want, and most of the things have been out of your control. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you had been riding well minus those issues, and comparatively to how you rode at Daytona? Because at Daytona, you were amazing. You looked fantastic. But do you feel like you've been riding good all year, just had these weird things happening?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, during the week, it's like, me, Malcolm, and Justin were literally banging bars the week before Tampa. And in Tampa, I just, rode really, really tight and got a bad start. And then, like you said, ran into Dylan. I broke my throttle cable then, so night was finished. And then San Diego, I smashed my face after the triple quad.
Yes.
So I tried to turn left as soon as I landed the quad and went face first into the dirt, and that ended my night. And then, I just couldn't seem to catch a break. And this weekend, I was just feeling really, really good. And the boys made some really good suspension changes to the bike and went out the heat race and got a pretty good start. And then, just pushed through. And once I got a taste of the speed right behind Anderson, I knew I could do it. I knew I could get up there and battle with these guys. So that gave me even more confidence in my starts. And then after that, so in the main, I was right behind Anderson again, and I was like, all right, well, here's the heat race again. So made the pass and just kind of tried to ride, relaxed and not so pent up and bound up. So that's pretty much what I did. And then those guys, Coop and Kenny were on another level. And then, Chase got by me and then I picked up a few lines that I got from Chase and Coop and Kenny and put on a late moto charge to hold off the number 32.
First of all, a couple suspension changes that made a big difference. Is that as simple as clickers, or are you what are those type of changes that happen during the race day that make that big of a difference?
No, so I have been struggling with bike setup a little bit throughout the year, just kind of not knowing what I want, and most of it's kind of confidence. Mm-hmm. And I think we made the forks internally softer.
Okay, so that you're doing internal changes on race day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't a clicker change. So the boys had an idea of what they wanted to do, but I wasn't sure if I wanted them to do it just yet. And then after practice, I just said, do it. Go ahead and do it. Show me the way, pretty much. And they did it, and it worked out.
That's kind of ballsy. Really, that's kind of ballsy on race day, because you don't really know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, and that's where I put my trust in them. And they've been doing it far longer than I have, and they know what to do. And you got to have trust in your team. That's what makes a great team from a good team.
Going back to a couple of things you said, though, you talked about watching Kenny and those guys and picking up on some lines. That's also, at times, that's questionable, right? You don't know what that line is actually like. So you just kind of, again, have to trust that what you're seeing from the other racers is working. But do you question that? Should I?
Yeah, it's funny because, I know in my mind, I knew that their lines were better because obviously Kenny was hounding me through the whoops. And I knew that. And, I wish I would have picked up on that line a little bit earlier, but I had to see him to do it. Yeah. And, all I had to do was move, 2 feet to the right in the whoops. So, it is a gamble in the race. And I've countless times picked a wrong line, like moved away from my regular line and picked the wrong line in the race. And that ultimately cost me either a win or a podium. So, that's where, once again, like, that's where the good separate from the great is, the great guys can tell when a line is good. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. I mean, Jet and Eli do it tremendously. They just move around the track, and Coop do it tremendously. They just move around the track and find lines that work. And they're doing it the whole entire race when we're on a track like Daytona that changes every single lap pretty much. And one of the lines was, you guys know where Coop stalled the bike?
Yeah.
Like right in front of me?
Yeah.
So after that double, there was a line that actually Coop tried to use it when he was right behind Kenny, but he got cross-rutted. So you take that inside rut and you almost have to like jump out of that rut onto pretty much a flat surface. And that was way better than the line that I was taking. I was just staying in the rut, and that rut was getting to be about a foot deep. So you couldn't really get over that next jump without like really humming it. So that was just one of them. The whoops was another. Kenny had a freaking awesome line after the stand, when he tripled into that corner, railed the outside, and then tripled off of that thing. That was insane. Yeah.
And I've talked to racers, and I mean, all of us, panic things happen and then you forget about it. You had a kind of almost an incident, the same place that Kitchen went down. When you went back and watched that, did you remember that happening before, or was it as scary as it looked to us?
Like when he was passing Jason, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember exactly what you're talking about, but in that moment, it doesn't really feel that sketchy to say, but yeah, I mean, once you go back and look, you're like, wow, that could have been really bad. That could have been like night ending for me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, in the moment, you're not really thinking about it, but I mean, all you're thinking about is who do I need to pass next? And that was a really good pass. Was that in the heat race or
that was the
main
main
event?
The main.
Okay, yeah, that was the main event. So
yeah.
in that sense, I was just like, get out front, go.
Yeah,
and you don't really think about that stuff. Like, you've probably asked riders before if they remember, either a pass or an incident that happened on the track, and they're probably like, I don't know. It's just sometimes you get in that state and you're just like, you're just in the zone. Yeah. And once you get out of it, you almost forget everything that has happened in the last 20 minutes.
Another incident that I caught was in the heat race with Malcolm right before the finish. I think you cased that big double. How'd that feel?
Dude, well, so I was hitting it on, I think, the right-hand side in the heat race. And, on the right and the left, it was smooth. You could do that. But in the middle, it was more of a wall, I guess, from people just hitting the brakes and letting off right at the wall. But I hit that middle line the last lap of the heat race, and dude, I thought I was going for a ride.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky that the bike just didn't keep going. But yeah, it just threw you a different way. And I even came back and I told Tom that, do not hit that in the middle. Like, if you're going to double it right or left. Like, do not hit it in the middle, because I almost ended it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there.
That track was,
and I cased it too.
Yeah.
And exactly. I cased it at that. So I was like completely level to where you want to be when you're landing something like that. You want to be rear wheel down
for
at all times.
Where are you at mentally? I guess is the easiest way to ask that question.
No, where I'm at now is really different than when those 22nd place finishes were not too far behind me. I was was struggling at first, man.
Okay.
It was like, I was to the point where I was like, am I doing the right thing here? Like, what do I need to change to do this and do that? Like, it was a tough couple of weeks, but no, like now, you know, with those starts, I think really what helped me was the starts in Detroit. The starts were on point. I got the whole shot in the heat race and in the main, and that kind of really turned things around for me to where I was like, all right, dude, if I can get up here and run with these guys, at least in the first couple laps, like something's going to stick.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's pretty much what I did in Daytona. I got up and I was leading the race, and then, you know, I didn't even see the halfway point. Like, I didn't even see the dude put out the stick for halfway. So, you know, I was just running up there with those guys, not really caring what or how much time we had left. And then, you know, all of a sudden there's a white flag, and I'm like, all right, this is going to stick now. I just gotta hold off another 32 and I'm good. So, no, I think the starts in Detroit were what kind of changed a little bit in my mindset. And then, I think it was last weekend at Arlington, I got up, I think I was in the lead for a second or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the last main, I was trying to convince myself that wasn't it, but yeah, I got up in the lead for 3 corners and beefed it into the hay bales. But I was just like, okay, you got the starts now. Now let's finish it. Like, now let's stay up there. And that finish this weekend helped my confidence extremely.